Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naranam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayatu Dhire Srinmata Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hudasto Yavadrani Vidunoti Snaishnutam Nashta Praisho Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Bande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 22, verse 17 and 18. Verse 17. Maitreya Vacha Prithastat Suktam Akarnya Saram Susthumitam Madhu Smayamana Iva Pritya Kumara Pratyuvachaha. Synonyms. Maitreya Vacha. The great sage Maitreya continued to speak Prithaha of King Prithu that Suktam Vedic conclusion. Akarnya hearing, Saram very substantial, Sustu appropriate, Mitam minimized, Madhu sweet to hear, Smayamanaha smiling, Eva like, Ritya out of great satisfaction, Kumaraha celibate, Pratyuvacha replied her thus. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The great sage Maitreya continued, thus Sanat Kumara, the best of celibates, after hearing the speech of Prithu Maharaj, which was meaningful, appropriate, full of precise words and very sweet to hear, smiled with full satisfaction and began to speak as follows. Purport. Prithu Maharaj's talks before the Kumaras were very laudable because of so many qualifications. A speech should be composed of selected words, very sweet to hear and appropriate to the situation. Such speech is called meaningful. All these good qualifications are present in Prithu Maharaj's speech because he is a perfect devotee. It is said, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarver gunes tatra samasate suraha. For one who has unflinching devotional faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is engaged in his service, all good qualities become manifest in his person. Bhagavatam Canto 5, Chapter 18, verse 12. Thus the Kumaras were very much pleased, and Sanat Kumara began to speak as follows. Verse 18. Sanat Kumaro Vacha Sadhu Pristam Maharaja Sarvabhuta Hitatmana Bhavata Vidusa Chapi Sadhunam Matiridrisi. Sadhu Pristam Maharaja Sarvabhuta Hitatmana Bhavata Vidusa Chapi Sadhunam Matiridrisi. Synonyms. Sanat Kumaro Vacha. Sanat Kumara said, Sadhu, saintly. Pristam, question. Maharaja, my dear king. Sarva Bhuta, all living entities. Hita Atma, by one who desires good for all. Bhavata, by you. Vidusa, well learned. Cha, and Api, although. Sadhunam, of the saintly persons. Matihi, intelligence. Idrisi, like this. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Sanat Kumara said, My dear King Prithu, I am very nicely questioned by you. Such questions are beneficial for all living entities, especially because they are raised by you, who are always thinking of the good of others. Although you know everything, you ask such questions because that is the behavior of saintly persons. Such intelligence is befitting your position. Purport. Maharaj Prithu was well conversant in transcendental science, yet he presented himself before the Kumaras as one ignorant of it. The idea is that Even if a person is very exalted and knows everything, before his superior, he should present questions. For instance, although Arjuna knew all the transcendental science, he questioned Krishna as if he did not know. Similarly, Prithu Maharaj knew everything, but he presented himself before the Kumaras as if he did not know anything. The idea is that questions by exalted persons put before the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotees are meant for the benefit of the general people. Therefore, sometimes great personalities put themselves in that position and inquire from a higher authority because they're always thinking of the benefit of others. End of purport. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नाम्ने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिण जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, everyone. Seeking blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to read Srimad Bhagavatam and to purify myself. Just summarize the two verses. So, in verse 17, it's mentioned that the Sanat Kumara, the best of the celibates, after hearing the speech of Prithu Maharaj, which was meaningful, appropriate, full of precise words, and very sweet to hear, smiled with full satisfaction and began to speak as follows. So the four Kumaras are Sanak, Sananda, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumara. They're created by Lord Brahma. They are the best of celibates. So, as per Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 12, Verse 4, all of them were unwilling to adopt materialistic activities because they were highly elevated due to their semens flowing upward. So, it's mentioned here the best of celibates. So let's go back and recall what King Prithu asked to the four Kumaras in the previous verses. So in verse 7, King Prithu is saying, "My dear great sages, auspiciousness personified, it is very difficult for even the mystic yogis to see you. Indeed, you are very rarely seen. I do not know what kind of pious activity I performed for you to grace me by appearing before me without difficulty." This shows King Prithu's humility. In verse 9, what Prithu Maharaj is saying, he continued that although you're traveling in all planetary systems, people cannot know you, just as they cannot know the Supersoul. Although he is within everyone's heart as the witness of everything, even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva cannot understand the Supersoul. Again in verse 12, Prithu Maharaj expressed his great appreciation of Vaishnavism by addressing the Kumaras as Vaishnava Srestha. Then in verse 13, Maharaj Prithu inquired from the four Kumaras about the fallen conditioned souls who are rotting in this material world due to their past bad or inauspicious activities. He is asking, is there any possibility for their auspicious spiritual life? And in verse 14, further he is saying, "My dear sirs, there is no need to ask about your good and bad fortune because you are always absorbed in spiritual bliss. The mental concoction of the auspicious and inauspicious does not exist in you." Then in verse 15, it's mentioned that it is a fact that saintly persons go to materialists just to give real information of the auspicious. Maharaj Prithu was assured of this fact. Therefore, instead of wasting time by asking the Kumaras about their welfare, he preferred to inquire from them whether he could soon be relieved from the dangerous position of materialistic existence. This was not, however, a question personally for Prithu Maharaj. It was raised to teach the common man that whenever one meets a great saintly person, one should immediately surrender unto him and inquire about relief from the material pains of existence. And in verse 16, King Prithvi is saying the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always anxious to elevate the living entities who are his parts and parcels. And for their special benefit, the Lord travels all over the world in the form of self realized persons like you, means the four Kumaras. So, when I read the verse 17 that about Prithamara's speech, I try to go back to the previous verses, what actually Prithamara has asked in the last 16 verses, and I collected those like these are the Prithamara's questions from the previous verses. So Prithamara's speech and questions are highly appreciable. It's meaningful and as it's meaningful also the Prithamara's questions because it's composed of selected words, very sweet to hear and appropriate to the situation. So in the purport of verse 17, it's mentioned about Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, chapter 18, verse 12. I'll read what is mentioned in that particular verse. It is mentioned that Eshasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarve gunestatra samasate suraha haro abhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathe nasati dvavato bahi, which means all the demigods and their exalted qualities such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities. Even if he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculations and must engage in the service of the Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? So, we, the living entities, come under Krishna's marginal energy. So, we have to understand why we are under marginal energy. So, we have the ability to be either under the superior or that is spiritual energy of Krishna or the external in or inferior material energy of Krishna. So, when we face towards Krishna and understand that we are not the enjoyer or master, but what is our real position? Jivar Swarupa Krishna Nityada. So we are the servant of Krishna and engage our senses to satisfy Krishna. We become Krishna conscious, then we will come under Krishna's spiritual energy. But if we become rebellious to compete with Krishna and think we are the enjoyer and we are the master, not Krishna is the master, and face towards Maya, then we come under Krishna's material energy, that is the external energy, will come under Maya's trap. So in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, verse 7, Krishna says, Mamevam sa jiva loka jiva bhuta sanatana manasasthindriyani prakritisani karsati. So we, the living entities, are part and parcel of Krishna. So as we are his part and parcel, when we become Krishna conscious, Krishna's good qualities, like we also try to acquire the good qualities of Krishna. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, lists 26 good qualities of Vaishnava. First quality is he is very kind to everyone. He does not make anyone his enemy. He is truthful. He is equal to everyone. No one can find any fault in him. He is magnanimous. He is mild. He is always clean. He is without possessions. He works for everyone's benefit. He is very peaceful. He is always surrendered to Krishna. He has no material desires. He is very meek. He is steady. He controls his senses. He does not eat more than required. He is not influenced by the Lord's illusory energy. He offers respect to everyone. He does not desire any respect for himself. He is very grave. He's merciful, he's friendly, he's poetic, he's expert, he's silent. So Prithu Maharaj was the Sakyaves avatar of the Lord. He was a great devotee of the Lord, and he has all the good qualities which was appreciated by the four Kumaras. Here in verse 18, Sanat Kumara is saying to Prithumaras that his questions are beneficial for all living entities, especially because they're raised by him, who are always thinking of the good for others. Although he knows everything, he asks such questions because that is the behavior of a saintly person. Such intelligence is befitting also his position. So, great personalities like Prithumaras, Arjuna, even though they know everything, still they ask questions to the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotees for the benefit of general public. We have seen in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna, there are Arjuna's questions and Krishna is answering. Actually, Arjuna was a great devotee of the Lord. He knows everything. Still, Arjuna was asking so many questions because he asked so many questions. So today we are getting all the answers from Bhagavad Gita. So Prithu Maharaj was asking questions with great humility. Sometimes we see people, whatever way they like, they ask the questions. But Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 34 says how we should approach great personalities. तद्विधि प्रणिपातेन परिप्राश्नेन सेवया उपदिक्ष्यन्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानिनां तत्त्वदर्शिना. Inquire from the spiritual master submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So let's say someone is giving class and maybe financially, maybe the person who is giving the class is not better than us, like better than the audience. But maybe spiritual knowledge wise, he's a very, very highly elevated person. So we have to always ask questions submissively. The word in the verse, Bhagavad Gita verse 34, we say, we search submissively. So such questions should be asked we asked which are beneficial for everyone. And we should always engage ourselves in the 9 processes of bhakti. That is, what are the 9 processes? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Dasyam, Saksham, Atmanivedanam. So, the first one and the most important one is Shravanam. We should always hear about the Lord. And how should we inquire from devotees, or like whenever we ask questions to the spiritual master, any saintly person or any great devotee of the Lord, how we should ask questions? We should ask questions like a fool. Fool means actually thinking we are fool, not like showing off that okay, everyone will think I'm a fool, I don't know, like not showing off, but actually thinking from inside that I'm a fool, I don't know anything. Otherwise, what happens? After practicing Krishna consciousness for a certain time period, we think, okay, now I read Bhagavad Gita 2 to 3 times. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam also I'm reading. Chaitanya Charitamrita is going on. I have Vaishnava association. I'm going to temple, doing kirtan, doing other devotional activities. So, okay, I am perfect now. So this is one kind of Maya's trap also. Once the pride comes, means downfall will start. So we have to be the main very important quality for devotees is we have to humble, because if we'll be humble, Krishna will lift us up, because the spiritual law of gravity is what goes down must come up. Like usually the law of gravity here in planet Earth is what is like going up, it will come down. But the spiritual law of gravity is what goes down must come up. Means if you bow down in humility, you rise up with grace for sure. So Vaishnavas should always think themselves as very insignificant, not any special. We should not think, okay, I'm doing this service very nicely, I'm so special. No, you have to always think that we don't know anything, we are incomplete, we are insignificant. As Vaishnavas, we have to remember 3 Ds. What are the 3 Ds? We are das, we are not the doors, we don't deserve. It's all our, we have to always think that it is our spiritual master's mercy, Vaishnava's mercy. Like today, every Friday, I do Japa book reading. And today I was thinking it's very rarely I get the opportunity that I read Japa book and then Bhagavatam class. So I was thinking like Vaishnavas, like Vamsi Prabhu is so kind, like we say Bancha Kalpataru Bhasya Kripa Sindhu Vamsa Patita Nam Pavane Vaishnava Namo Namo. Vaishnavas are like desiratory. They give you the opportunity. Only because of their mercy, we get the opportunity to do the seva. So it is spiritual master's mercy, devotees' mercy, Lord Krishna's mercy, Jagannath's mercy, that we got an opportunity to become an instrument. So in that humble state of mind, we can chant the holy name properly. What is the holy name? Today we're reading in the Japa book also. Very good exercise we practice today. How to do Japa, like, how to focus, how to be detached. What is that? That very nice tip we got, how to, think yourself, you are detached, and how you can connect yourself to the divine couple Radha and Krishna. So in that humble state of mind, we can chant the holy name Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. With that, I'd like to stop here. Thank you again for giving me this opportunity to read Srimad Bhagavatam. Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripam Sindhuvaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnaveभ्यो Namo Namaha. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। जय श्रील प्रभुपाद।